Have you ever wondered how ancient Rome, an empire that rose over 2,000 years ago, built structures so advanced they still stand today? It wasn't magic, it was engineering genius. Let's dive into the incredible innovations that made Rome the superpower of its time. First up, their secret weapon, Roman concrete. This wasn't your average sidewalk mix. By combining volcanic ash, lime, and seawater, they created a material that was not only incredibly strong, but could also set underwater. This superconcrete allowed them to build massive, durable structures like the Colosseum and harbors that have withstood centuries of waves and weather. In fact, in some ways, it's even more resilient than modern concrete. Next, let's talk about the arch. While the Romans didn't invent the arch, they perfected it and used it everywhere. The rounded arch could support immense weight and span huge distances, making it the backbone of their most famous constructions. They used it to build bridges, basilicas, and of course the aqueducts. These weren't just decorative. They were a revolutionary way to distribute stress, allowing for taller, wider, and more complex buildings than ever before. And speaking of aqueducts, these were the arteries of the Roman Empire. Imagine intricate networks of channels, tunnels, and bridges stretching for miles, all designed to bring fresh water from distant springs into bustling cities. Using nothing but gravity, they engineered these systems with such a precise, gentle slope that they could deliver millions of gallons of water a day. This supplied public baths, fountains, and private homes, drastically improving sanitation and public health. It was a feat of civic engineering that fueled the growth of their cities. This leads us to their urban planning. Roman cities weren't a chaotic jumble of streets. They were often laid out in a grid pattern inspired by military camps, with two main streets, the Cardo and Decumanus, intersecting at the center. This design made navigation easy and allowed for organized zoning with dedicated areas for markets, temples, and residential blocks. They also built an extensive network of paved roads, famously proclaiming all roads lead to Rome. These roads were built in layers for durability and drainage, connecting the vast empire for trade, communication, and rapid troop movement. Finally, we arrive at the Pantheon in Rome, the ultimate testament to their architectural mastery. When you step inside, you look up at its massive, unreinforced concrete dome, still the largest of its kind in the world. At the very top is the oculus, a 9-meter opening to the sky that is the only source of light. The dome's genius lies in its construction. The Romans used progressively lighter materials as they built upwards and included coffered panels to reduce the weight without sacrificing strength. The Pantheon is a perfect fusion of brilliant engineering and breathtaking artistry. It's a temple dedicated to all the gods that has inspired architects for 2 millennia. From their miracle concrete and the versatile arch to life-giving aqueducts and meticulously planned cities, the engineering marvels of ancient Rome are more than just old ruins. They are a powerful reminder of human ingenuity and a legacy written in stone and concrete that continues to shape our world. Thanks for watching. If you found this as fascinating as I do, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for more journeys into the past. Hey, see you next time. In the heart of Rome stands a building that defies the laws of gravity. Pantheon has been standing for nearly 2,000 years. Its centerpiece is a record breaker, the largest unreinforced concrete dome in the world. Even today, with all our modern technology, we cannot replicate this with the same materials. But to an architect, the Pantheon isn't just a temple. It is a mathematical miracle. It is a perfect sphere hidden inside a cylinder, a soul of geometry that has survived earthquakes, fires, and the fall of empires. The technical construction secret of the Pantheon lies in a concept called graduated density. The Roman engineers knew that if they built the entire dome out of standard heavy concrete, it would collapse under its own weight, weighing nearly 5,000 tons. To solve this, they used real data from the Earth. As they built upward, they changed the recipe for the concrete. At the base, they used heavy basalt. Halfway up, they switched to lighter brick. And at the very top, around the central opening, they used porous volcanic pumice stone, so light it can float on water. By reducing the weight as the dome narrowed, they ensured the structure could support itself without any steel reinforcement. But the genius didn't stop at the ingredients. Look at the ceiling of the Pantheon. and you'll see the coffers, those recessed square panels. Most people think they are just for decoration, but they are actually a brilliant weight reduction hack. By carving out these squares, the Romans removed massive amounts of concrete weight without sacrificing the structural strength of the ribs. It was an ancient version of generative design, where every ounce of material had to earn its place in the sky. Then, there is the oculus, the 9-meter-wide hole at the very peak of the dome. It is the building's only source of light, but it also serves a vital structural purpose. By leaving the crown of the dome open, the Romans eliminated the heaviest point of the structure, where the tension would be at its highest. But what happens when it rains? This is where the soul of Roman plumbing returns. The floor of the Pantheon is slightly curved, and hidden beneath the marble are 22 tiny drainage holes. When rain falls through the oculus, it disappears into a 2,000-year-old sewage system that still works perfectly today. The interior is a perfect mathematical harmony. The diameter of the dome is exactly 43.3 meters, which is the same as the height from the floor to the top. This means you could fit a perfect sphere inside the building, touching the floor, the walls, and the ceiling simultaneously. To the Romans, this represented the universe, a city built to mirror the heavens. It stands as a testament to the fact that when architecture is backed by perfect math, it becomes eternal. The Pantheon is the ancestor of every great dome in the world, from the U.S. Capitol to St. Peter's Basilica. But while the Pantheon was a temple for the gods, Romans had another structure built for the people, a machine of concrete and blood that could hold 50,000 spectators and featured technology that seems centuries ahead of its time. Before we reveal the mechanical secrets of the Colosseum, including the hidden elevators that moved lions and gladiators, make sure you are subscribed to at City's Soul AI. We are uncovering the blueprints that define civilization. Are you ready for the roar of the arena? The Colosseum is the most famous ruins on Earth, but to the Romans, it wasn't just a stadium, it was a high-tech stage for the spectacle of death. While the 50,000 spectators sat in seats organized by social class, a hidden world of industrial engineering was operating beneath their feet. This was the Hypogeum, a 2-story underground labyrinth of tunnels, cages, and mechanical rooms that acted as the backstage of the Roman Empire. To an architect, the Colosseum wasn't just a masterpiece of stone. It was the world's first automated theater. The technical construction secret of the Hypogeum lies in its elevator systems. Romans didn't have electricity, but they managed to make 500-pound lions and fully armed gladiators teleport onto the arena floor through trapdoors. How? They used a system of 28 massive wooden elevators powered by capstans, large vertical winches turned by dozens of slaves. Using a complex network of ropes, pulleys, and lead counterweights, these elevators could lift thousands of pounds simultaneously. This allowed the showrunners to coordinate a surprise entrance, making it look as though an entire forest or a pride of lions had suddenly grown out of the sand. But the engineering of the Colosseum went beyond the basement. The building itself is an elliptical masterpiece of logistics. To handle 50,000 people entering and leaving at once, the Romans used the same vomitoria system we saw in Pompeii, but on a massive scale. There were 80 numbered entrances. A Roman citizen would hold a tessera, a clay ticket with a number that matched their specific archway. This data-driven crowd control was so efficient that 50,000 people could find their seats in under 20 minutes. It is the exact blueprint used by every modern NFL or FIFA stadium today. One of the most debated technical secrets of the Colosseum is the Nomachia, the naval battles. Historical records claim that in the early years, the arena floor was flooded to stage full-scale sea wars with real ships. This required a staggering level of hydraulic engineering. To fill the arena with millions of gallons of water, the Romans diverted the flow from a nearby aqueduct into a massive system of lead pipes and valves. They had to waterproof the entire wooden floor and the stone basement walls with a special volcanic cement to prevent the water from collapsing the structure. It was a feat of engineering that seems impossible even by 21st century standards. The building was a living machine. At the top of the 4th story, hundreds of Roman sailors worked in a synchronized rhythm to operate the velarium, the giant retractable awning that protected the wealthy from the sun. The masts used to hold the ropes were anchored into the very stone of the building. In Rome, architecture was never static. It was always moving, always breathing, and always designed to serve the soul of the Roman masses through a combination of blood and brilliant mechanics. But Rome's engineering wasn't just about entertainment. As the empire grew, the city faced a crisis that every modern city faces today. How do you move millions of people and goods across thousands of miles without a single drop of fuel? The answer was a network of roads so advanced, they changed the shape of the world forever. Before we reveal the technical layers of the Roman roads and why they have outlasted modern asphalt, make sure to like this video and subscribe to City Soul AI. We are uncovering the blueprints of the eternal city. Ready to hit the road? Rome wasn't just a city, it was a network. To keep 1 million people fed and an empire of 50 million people connected, the Romans had to solve a problem that still plagues modern governments. How do you build a road that doesn't fall apart? Their answer was the via, a road system so advanced that many are still in use as foundations for modern European highways today. This was the soul of Roman logistics. A 50,000-mile circulatory system that moved legions, grain, and information at the speed of a galloping horse. To an architect, the technical construction secret of a Roman road is its stratigraphy. Roman road wasn't just a layer of stones on dirt, it was a multi-layered engineering project up to 5 feet deep. First, they dug a trench to solid ground. Then came the stadaman, fist-sized stones, followed by the rudous rubble and lime. Then the nucleus, fine gravel and sand, and finally, the summum dorsum, the heavy, interlocking basalt paving stones. This created a flexible foundation that could absorb the weight of massive military wagons without cracking. But the real genius was the crown. The center of the road was always higher than the sides, creating a perfect drainage slope so that rainwater would flow off into side gutters immediately. No puddles meant no potholes, and no potholes meant the empire never stopped moving. But the roads didn't just stay on the ground. They crossed mountains and rivers. Roman bridges used the same self-supporting arch technology we saw in the city. But they added a brilliant feature for river flow, the cutwater. These were triangular stone wedges built into the bridge piers that cut through the river current, reducing the pressure of the water against the structure. Without this data-driven design, the bridges would have been washed away during spring floods. Instead, Roman bridges like the Ponte du Gard still stand today. 2,000 years later, a testament to structural longevity, to keep the soul of the empire synchronized. The Romans built a system of milestones. The efficiency of these roads allowed for the cursus publicus, the state-run postal and transport service. Messages could travel 50 miles a day, a speed of communication that wouldn't be surpassed until the invention of the telegraph. Rome had effectively shrunk the world. They had turned the chaos of the wilderness into a predictable, engineered grid. However, as the roads grew longer and the city grew wealthier, the Romans began to face a new kind of crisis, the weight of their own luxury. As we look at these ancient stones, worn smooth by millions of sandals, we realize that Rome's roads were the internet of the ancient world. But while the roads brought life in, they also made the city a target. How did the world's most engineered city protect itself when the walls finally began to close in? Before we reveal the defensive secrets of the Aurelian walls and the final technical collapse of the Eternal City, make sure to like this video and subscribe to City Soul AI. We are following the roads of history to its most incredible conclusions. Are you ready for the final stand? For centuries, Rome was a city without walls. The Romans were so confident in their technical superiority and their invincible legions that they believed the city itself was untouchable. But by the 3rd century AD, the real data of the empire was changing. Pressure from northern tribes and internal instability meant that the soul of Rome was finally at risk. To survive, the city had to undergo one of the largest emergency construction projects in history, the Aurelian Walls. To an architect, the Aurelian Walls are a masterclass in defensive engineering on a budget. Built in just 5 years, the wall stretched for 12 miles and stood 26 feet high. But the technical secret wasn't just the height. It was the integration. To save time and materials, the Roman engineers didn't just build a new wall, they recycled the city. They incorporated existing structures like aqueducts, amphitheaters, and even apartment blocks directly into the wall's line. This adaptive reuse allowed them to create a massive defensive perimeter with half the resources. They even built 383 towers, spaced exactly at the distance an archer could fire an arrow with lethal accuracy. The entire city was turned into a calculated killing zone for any invader. However, engineering can only save a city if its systems remain intact. As the empire's borders crumbled, the technical infrastructure of Rome began to fail. The Goths and Vandals realized that you didn't need to break the walls to kill Rome. You just had to cut the water. When the aqueducts were severed, the Roman soul began to dry up. Without water, the thermal baths closed, the sewers overflowed with disease, and the high-rise apartments became uninhabitable. A city built for 1 million people cannot survive on hand-carried buckets. The technical collapse led to a period of urban cannibalization. The citizens who remained began to pull the marble off the temples to make lime for mortar. They stripped the lead pipes from the streets to make tools. The great machine of living was being dismantled by its own survivors. Yet even in this decay, Roman engineering proved its immortality. The massive concrete shells of the Pantheon and the Colosseum were too strong to be torn down. They became architectural anchors that the medieval city grew around. Rome didn't disappear. It simply downsized into the ruins of its own former glory, waiting for the Renaissance to rediscover its forgotten blueprints. The ultimate legacy of Rome for the Et Cita Soli community is the lesson of sustainability. Rome proves that a city's soul is tied to its maintenance. When the engineering fails, the culture follows. But it also proves that if you build with a long-term vision, using materials like volcanic concrete and the geometry of the arch, your city's spirit will outlast even the empire that built it. As we look at the Aurelian walls today, still standing in the heart of modern Rome, we see the scar tissue of a superpower. Rome was the first global city, and its technical secrets still form the foundation of the world we live in today. From the roads beneath our tires to the domes above our heads, we are all living in the shadow of the Roman soul. Thank you for exploring the technical soul of Rome with us on at City Soul AI. We are building a global community of architects, historians, and storytellers. If you're ready to see which city we uncover next, perhaps the hidden water tunnels of Petra or the earthquake-proof heights of Machu Picchu, sure to subscribe. The past is just a blueprint for the future. Which secret shall we unlock next?